shine brighter than the moon. Clear the sun, be greater what you do. Keep it all that you clear. Trust the process to keep your eyes open wide. There ain't no stopping now. You're what I'm seeing. You can have it if you dream it. Just be brave and you'll achieve it all. It all. I wanna know if you really want it, and if you do, then just shout it loud and clear. I wanna know if you really need it, and if you do, then just shout it loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear. Shout it loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear. Shout it loud and clear.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Let's get started. Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and welcome to DayTradeSPY.com's weekly fireside chat. Introduction Trading Week in Review. My name is Hugh. It is December the 7th, 2025. Follow us on Instagram at DayTradeSPY_. DayTradeSPY_. All right. I just want to make sure that you can see this. I'm not sure. Hang on. Let's see. Take a look here. Share screen. Share screen. Are you seeing this? I don't think you're seeing my screen, are you? Share screen. Why? Are you sharing? Are you seeing my screen? Oh, you must be seeing my screen. Yes, you are. Okay. I was looking at the wrong. I was looking at the wrong thing here. So, all right. My name is Hugh. Please use the questions box. You'll find the little icon on your Zoom dashboard. Click on that. I am the only one that sees that. And I just got to find the questions box. There it is, right there. Cool. Okay, let's get started. Yeah, I've got the old winter PowerPoint template back. So. I thought you'd like to see that one. So it is snowing outside right here in Western New York. Right, and yes, football season is here, and I see my beloved Buffalo Bills won. Who did they play? Cincinnati. I think it was Cincinnati, Buffalo Bills today. Right, what did they do? What was the final score? I think it was something like 39-34 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Final score. Somebody actually emailed me earlier and asked if I'm watching the game in the snow. I said, no, 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 no. I am actually nice and warm, but I am working on my PowerPoint. So thanks anyway. Anyway, all right. Da, 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 da. Okay. Let me take a look and see what we got here. Quick question for you folks. I want to see how many first-time options traders there are out there. So please, in the questions box, just punch up whether you are very familiar with options, somewhat, just a little, or what are options. This will some kind of, somehow determine whether we get into a primer, an options primer tonight, or just carry on with weekend reviews. So just punch it up here. I want to see how familiar with. Okay, most people are A's, somewhat. Some people are A's. Very okay. Cool. All right. Nice to see lots of A's. Lots of A's. I sense that was going to be the case. So there's some people who are a little new and somewhat options traders. Okay, not a problem. So you're not going to miss anything if you're not really familiar with options here tonight. We're not going to really get into, we're not going to get into technicals, the mechanics of trading or anything like that. It's just mostly like an overview. Obviously, we're here to, tell you what we have, how you can become a great options trader, right? So I'm going to leave this up here for a few seconds, let you read it. This is the standard default disclaimer. All right, we have to put this up here so we stay out of jail. Okay. This is what we do. We got to make sure you understand that you alone are responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. All right, so a little bit about myself. My name is Hugh. I've been doing this for a long time, been trading sort of publicly here, teaching people since 2010, so that puts us into our 17th year. 17th year, and I'm looking for short-term breakout trades. No, I do not have any experience on the trading floor. Not that that means a whole lot these days anyway, doesn't matter. I've not, I won't say follow, but I've experienced some of these people who have experienced traders on the trader floor, and I wouldn't follow them to the nearest exit, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, um, my system works very well for me, and I hope it works for you. So that's what I set out to do when people course me in teaching people how to trade. I um, I started getting into the trading room, inner circle, ebooks, live trading sessions, different things like that. And then I guess about 12, 13 years later, Eagle Financial Products noticed and said, "Oh, we got to get this guy." So they bought us out, and then they hired me back, and then they brought on John Johnson, actually not ex, just a former Eagle Financial Guru. He's a lawyer by trade, litigation, oil and gas industry down in Texas. He's done very well for himself. Super nice guy, very personable, and very much into movies. He's he can quote you movies. Any movies ever seen, he has his famous quote lines, and he'll pull them out. And super nice guy. Anyway, so they brought him online. Now he is highly acclaimed, been quoted in many publications, and he takes pride in teaching people how to trade as well. His philosophy is very simple: take what the market will give you. So John and I actually are very closely aligned with the way we trade, and which is actually really good. All right. So we run the trading room together. We co-host. One hosts, the other co-host, and we switch Tuesdays and Wednesdays. He's the host, and I'm the co-host. Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I host. He co-hosts. Doesn't much matter who hosts, who co-hosts. That we both run the same ship here, and very good trader. He's an excellent trader. Okay. Now John has his set of indicators that he likes to use, and I have my set of indicators that I like to use. And it's actually pretty good because they are both very effective. But where we get the real synergy is when our indicators both say the same thing. If we are both on the cusp of, say, the market going up, and we announce it, I think the market's going to go up here, John. And he says, you know what? I see the same thing. Using my indicators, the market's going to go up. Well, you better buy call options because chances are the market's going to go up. So we're saying that when our indicators unite, our trades ignite. It's a very real saying, right? And that's why it works very well. So together, we run the trading room, we make some pretty good money, and we hope to make money for you guys. There's this picture right there. He is not on with me tonight because he does the Wednesday night sessions. I do the Sunday night sessions. Once in a while, he pops in, but he's probably out with his family tonight, enjoying the Sunday evenings. So, all right. Don't forget our Spy on the Market newsletter, e-newsletter, free every Thursday. Brief read, light, relevant, entertaining. All you have to do to subscribe, just go to our website, daytradespy.com, and when the pop-up comes up, leave us your email address. Or you can also go to the website and up at the top left corner, just click on Spy on the Market, and all the old editions are right there. I think we're somewhere around 115 or something. So, been doing this for a long time. But yes, they're all different. They're all relevant. They're all, entertaining actually. So, this week's topic is going to be the risks of finfluencers. Finfluencers, financial influencers. And it's going to be an interesting read. I think you're going to see some very interesting statistics on that, and you're going to not want to miss that. Okay, so All right, what are we going to talk about here today? Tonight we are going to talk about, let's see, what happened recently, the upcoming week. We'll talk about our 5 to 50,000 challenge, what we're going to do there in the new year. We're going to answer your questions. There's the questions box. You'll find a little icon on your Zoom dashboard. Click on that. I am the only one that sees that. Your next steps to success on the stock market. I'm going to give you a 2-minute tutorial and, of course, our contest. We're going to give you a little contest there. The winner gets tips, tricks, and traps. I better write that down so I don't forget. Tips, tricks, and traps for the winner tonight. And I think you'll enjoy it. It's very easy. You don't have to, it's not a skill testing question, not at all. All right. And we'll get to that. So, all right, let's take a look and see what happened on the stock market. This is the week in review. Let's just expand this chart. On Monday, the markets ran up but skidded to close lower off a slightly higher November. Well, SPY lost 0.5% from a shortened Black Friday amid worries about big tech firms over valuations. John and I, now this is between the trading room and our pick of the day, Day Trade Spy, Signal, and what else? I guess that's it. Our trading room, Signal, pick of the day. We had 12 wins. 12 wins, no losses. On Tuesday, SPY edged up on optimism. The Feds are going to cut rates next week. Lots of chatter about that. Gains are buoyed by gains in the tech sector. Gains were buoyed by gains. Let me see. Uh, well, that's kind of redundant, isn't it? But anyway, we had 7 wins. On Wednesday, SPY notched up another 4-day win streak this week on the techs and industrials with high expectations from the Feds. We had 8 wins. And on Thursday, SPY rose just 0.1% higher, remaining just 0.5% below its all-time high with economic data that supported a rate cut, right? Unemployment claims, various indicators, economic indicators, definitely supporting a rate cut next week. We had 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 hold, kind of a quiet day on Thursday. And on Friday, markets digested more economic data, including a PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditure Report, which is what the Feds use. That's their primary indicator. That solidified rate cut expectations, at least on the short term there. SPY bounced to close at 685.65. We had some real good bounce here, ran up to 688.39. Way up at the top shelf there, very briefly. That's where Mama keeps her cookies, up on the top shelf, and then came back down. Closed at 685.65. We'll see what happens. 12 wins, 1 loss, 1 break even. So what's going on here? Well, here's a seasonal chart. Let's expand the seasonal chart and go down to a focus here. The blue line, for those unfamiliar with the seasonal charts, the blue line is where SPY is now. And the red line at the bottom here, that's a composite of the last 5 years closing price on the daily chart on SPY. So historically, looking back, we rose about 3 points over last week. And again, seasonally, SPY rose about 4 points coming up into the following week as we head into the latter part of December, middle of December, little after middle of December. It looks like there's a bit of a bounce. We'll see where it goes. Let me just go back a second here. And we've got that Santa rally coming up, but there's a little bit of a bounce here just before the end of the year, I guess just before Christmas. Um, Interesting how we're going to see what happens. Is there going to be a Santa rally this year? Not really sure. Markets resumed their climb, delivered double-digit gains in all major U.S. indices this week. Actually, no, not this week, but year to date. Fed Reserve is likely to cut interest rates. That is the general consensus. Labor markets in focus, non-farm jobs report, September the 16th, that's coming up. Going to provide some clarity on the jobs market. And we've got a potential Santa rally 73% of the time in late December. No guarantees, but what we get there is a lot of funds rebalancing their positions. So we'll see what happens this year. Here's a chart that shows the probability of a Fed rate cut by 25 basis points. At the December meeting, it's returned down now to about 88%. It actually fell to about, well, actually just under 50% earlier this month, last month actually. So now more analysts are expecting the Feds, in fact, more Fed Reserve vice presidents are also ramping up for a Fed rate cut. I still can't help but think of what Fed Chair Jerome Powell said there the last time was there's no foregone conclusion, but I have to think that the pressure is on for a Fed rate cut, and I'm pretty sure he'd probably want to go out of his tenure with a on a positive note. So we're kind of banking on this Fed rate cut coming up next week, which is going to be Wednesday. Okay. S&P grew 0.3% this week. Year to date, 16.8%. NASDAQ is 22.1% year to date, and the Dow is 12.7% year to date. Both the NASDAQ and the Dow had positive gains this week. The NASDAQ is higher because it's mostly the tech stocks, and those are mostly overvalued. You'll see that changes happen more so on the Nasdaq, both good and bad. But right now, the looks like the tech stocks are riding high, whopping 22.1% year to date, as we head into the end of the year. Coming up this week, what do we have? Low, no news day Monday, not a whole lot going on. On Tuesday, we've got ADP employment change, also JOLTS job openings. The big news is going to be on Wednesday, Fed Reserve fund rate announcement, and all the conferences and whatnot surrounding that. Thursday, we've got unemployment claims, and then back to Friday, low, no news day. What that means is volatility could be low on Monday and Friday, elevated on Tuesday and Thursday, and high on Wednesday. To be quite frankly with you folks, I do not want to hold any contracts into Wednesday afternoon when the Fed fund rate is announced. Frankly, it could go in either direction. Okay. Volatility is also higher when President Trump speaks. So watch for any announcements when Trump is on. You'll see elevated volatility right around then. Ladies and gentlemen, we have many opportunities all day, every day that show up. We show you how to find them and how to spot them, how to trade them. That's what we do. All right. So what are we going to do? What are we going to talk about? Now we're going to talk about the $5,000 to $50,000 challenge. Going to give you an update. I mentioned this for several weeks now. We did this week where we took was it $5,000 turned into 100 no 50,000. Did that in about 9.5 months. Actually, not about 8.5 months. It was mid-September we actually hit our target. Well, our goal now is to produce $200 a day. This is kind of what we're starting with. We're going to start with $5,000, and we are looking to produce $200 a day in gains, and we're looking to reach $50,000 by the end of 2026. We're going to try to do this sort of a nice, easy way of doing it. And you can just simply follow our procedures in the trading room. You have to be in the trading room. That's where we are going to do this. And I'm going to remind you to join now. If you're not in the trading room now, join now and be ready for it because this is where you're going to learn how to do it. So you can start with $5,000 and hopefully make $50,000 by the end of 2026. This is over and above any other trades you might do, by the way. It's just kind of a little extra unique strategy that we are going to invoke here, okay? We're still going to continue, of course, with our regular strategies, our OMG, which is short for out of the morning gate. And we're probably just going to use our bread and butter strategy to make this 5 to 50K challenge. So we're going to be very excited about this. Some rules. We have some rules. We're going to start with 5,000. We're only going to trade profits as they settle the next day. Our aim is to use a cash account. Pattern day trade rules do not apply. All right, but we're going to buy first, then sell. Calls and puts using our standard setups. No spreads, no naked positions, nothing like that. Of course, we're going to track on our daily spreadsheet. These activities are going to be reported daily in the Inner Circle follow-up report. And we're going to record our gains and losses net of commissions at $1 a contract, which is what Tasty Trade has. $1 to open a position, 0 to close, up to a maximum of $10 a trade. And our goal is, of course, to hit $50,000 profit by the end of the year 2026. And let's see how quickly we can do it. Maybe we can do it faster, right? Hopefully we can do it faster. So we're going to start with some safer trades further out at the money expirations, modest gains. We're not going to go crazy. Build up our buffer. This way we'll have some room in case we have some losses, right? Want to make sure we got a bit of a buffer there. Might get more aggressive later in the program. We shall see. Okay, we shall see. But it's going to happen in the trading room. Trading room, what is the trading room? Well, this is the trading room. World famous trading room. I say that because we have traders from literally around the world. And it's funny because whenever I click the mouse, my streaming video of me stops. And it's funny how it always seems to find the worst possible pose. It's actually embarrassing. Then when I look over, I have this stupid look on my face. Very embarrassing. But anyway, I guess they say that you're your own worst critic, but really I don't know how it just finds the worst possible pose. Anyway, the trading room, hosted by myself along with John. We have a combined 45 plus years of market experience, ladies and gentlemen. That's a long time. That's a long time to be in the stock market. I would say that most traders do not enjoy that many years in the stock market. They get in and out, they blow up their accounts. But this is where we're going to invoke our experience. We're going to show you, we're going to teach you things that you might not have known before. This is where strategies come alive every morning, 9:20 to 10:30 Eastern time. In fact, I should probably correct this and write Eastern time in here. There you go. Just so you know, it's Eastern time. John is in Central time, so he has to make allowance for that. That's one of the benefits of living in Texas. You have to get up an hour earlier. Uh, for that reason, I probably will never leave the Eastern time zone unless I move to Europe, in which case I have to disrupt my day in the afternoon and get into the trading room, right? So I'm not sure what's worse. We have some folks, believe it or not, in Hawaii, and I applaud those people in Hawaii who join us at some ridiculous time, like 3:30 in the morning. I don't know if you stay awake all day or all night into that, or whether you set the clock and get up at that ungodly hour. But I applaud you for your tenacity in doing that. So anyway, our trading rooms are learn and earn sessions. Folks, learn from the best. These are interactive sessions, exciting trading. They're fully narrated. We teach what we trade, and we trade what we teach. These are not watch you and John trade sessions, although we trade simulated accounts. We also trade real money. And by law, we have to show you our sim accounts, but we also talk about the real trades that we execute. Okay. You're going to watch us make real trades, real setups using real money, and also, as I mentioned, sim accounts as well. And if you have any questions, you can actually ask those questions in the questions box, just like what you are seeing right here. And you'll get them answered. At least we attempt to answer all the questions. We may not get to them all, but we certainly try. And I love it when people chime in with their wins, with their gains, with their, I don't want to call it a win. Win makes it sound like it's a gamble. It's not a gamble. With their gains, so their earned income, their earned profits. Okay. Um, I get so excited, and we have to use first names only to protect their privacy. But I'm very proud of everybody in the trading room who does extremely well. And one thing I gathered is that the people that do extremely well, they're the ones that have been in the trading room for a long time. So you'll never know when, you became good at it, but you just sort of do. It reminds me of when I took flying lessons. I keep going back to that because it was so clear to me. And I could do the takeoffs and all the air work, no problem, stall spins, all that wonderful stuff. But I could not land the plane to save my life in a nice way. It was very ugly. Somehow, find the airport, just plop down onto it. And sometimes I even miss the runway. You land on the grass beside the runway, and you tell your instructor, "I meant to do that." Yeah, sure, pal. He says to me. The one time I even blew out a tire, and he told me, "So okay, the first one will get any other tire blows or damage to the plane, you're getting it." So. I asked him, I said, listen, am I ever going to learn this? He said, yes. Yes, you will. He said, always remember, your landing starts 5 miles back. Envision where the plane's going to go. All right. Envision where it's going to go. Envision your altitude, your speed, your everything, where the plane is going to go. Make the plane do what you want it to do. And hit the numbers. There are numbers on the runways. Okay. And one day you're just gonna master it and you won't even think about it. Kind of like driving a car. Remember the old standard transmission cars? I'm sure many of you still know how to drive those. Well, I learned on the standard, and I missed the standards. I guess my last standard car I had was a BMW 325i or something. But you can't get standards anymore unless you buy a Porsche or something, and then you have to pay a lot of money for standards. Standards were actually cheaper than automatics at one time. Now you can't even get them, but they're fun to drive. But I remember, and you could relate to that, where, you just get in the car, okay, you push the clutch in, put it in gear, start the car, give a little gas, take the clutch out, you chunk, 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 and then you stall it. And then you do it again and again and again. You say, what the heck is this? Am I ever going to learn this? And then when you're shifting gears, you have that big, that big break in there, that jerkiness, and holy smokes, this is horrible. But after a while, it doesn't take long. You get to learn it, right? Um, and um, and suddenly, you're shifting smoother than with an automatic transmission. There's no jerk. You're never stalling it. You don't think about it. You just get in and do it. And that's what it was like when I actually learned how to land the plane. I remember the one time, so where I could look out on the out of my window here, I could see the wheels. It was a Cessna 172, 152, 152 that one time. That time, maybe it was a 172. Doesn't matter, both the same. But there was no, I could see the wheels. And I remember I was right in the middle of the numbers. I landed, and I never even felt it. I never even felt. I looked down, and oh, the wheels are spinning. Okay, I must be on the ground. That's what we call a greaser. That was a greaser. We called a good landing anything that you can use the plane again. That was a good landing. A greaser is we didn't even feel it. And after a while, I could learn, I learned to do crosswind landings, all kinds of landings. It didn't matter. And they were spot on. And you didn't learn. And that's the way it is with this. This is why I'm coming back around, circling around here. That's the way it is with the trading room as well. You're not going to realize it, but at some point, you're just going to start having some really good trades. And I teach people how to, you log your trades, right? Log your trades. And one day you're going to look back and say, "Oh my gosh, I just did 38 good trades. Maybe I learned something." Whereas I used to do four or five, then I have a loss, or panic and sell. I did seven or eight, and then I had a loss. But you're gonna have a whole string of great trades, and you won't even recognize until after you look back and say, "Oh, maybe I've learned something." It's just going to naturally, form on you. So, and again, this is where we're going to do the 5 to 50K challenge in 1 year. Uh, as I understand it, we have the longest running trading room since 2010. Folks, you got to get in on this, right? I understand if you contact customer service at DayTradeSPY, they will give this to you for only $6.99 for a 3-month quarterly payment. So my question to you is, can you afford not to subscribe to this? Because I sure can't. Sounded so good, I almost fell for it. I wanted to fall for it, but I'm the one running it. So anyway, gang, the trading room. You should try and really be part of the trading room. All right. I really advocate this. This works out to roughly a half a Subway sandwich a day for one of us, either John or myself. So even John and myself, only one of us is going to eat. That's how little it costs. Well, maybe I think it's like $10 and change a day is what it works out to. All right, I am going to look at some questions. Any questions here? Have you found the Tasty Trade setup yet? Okay, so all right, so Phil, I had an old webinar. I looked for that the other day. I could not find it. I think my old partner Alex actually did that one, And I emailed him on that to see if he has that. So I'm waiting to hear back from him on that. The issue with that is that it's an old version of Tasty, and I don't even think we actually used the actual program. I think we had some sort of mix and match. So the question was how to use Tasty Trade and program it. And I wish I had it here. But the problem was Tasty Trade does not have a simulated account. So I'd probably have to show you some screenshots, or maybe you can send me. Not really sure how to do this. Um, I'd have to try and dig out something for you, Phil. I can't promise you anything on that. If you want to send me screenshots, I can direct you. There is a trade tab. Let me go over it and figure something out for you, and just maybe guide you through that with some screenshots if I can. So. All right. When would the 5,000 to 50,000 challenge start? We are looking at early January, sort of the first part of January, which would probably be January the 5th. That is actually the first Monday. January the 1st is, of course, a holiday. That's Thursday. The Friday is the 2nd. I don't think too many people probably want to start yet at that, even though we're going to be online. I think we'll start it on the 5th of January, which is a Monday. This year we started it on the 6th of January, and like I say, we hit our target by mid-September. Mid-September. Now, admittedly, this year we were pretty aggressive at times. We did go out on the limb a lot, and we had some crazy trades, but we hit it. So I'm thinking of toning it down a little bit, making it more a little palatable for everybody. So I'm really thinking that this way we can get more people in, and I want to see some real results. And I would like to see you chime in with your milestone milestone results, right? I know a lot of people are going to say, well, I hit my 10,000 mark, I hit my 20,000 mark, I hit my 30,000. I'm getting very excited about that. So, all right, some more comments here. I'm going into next week holding some calls. In your experience, what is the daily range on SPY? Given your experience, I'm down 10% with theta decay. Ron, I don't like to comment on specific trades during the session, but I will say that seasonally, SPY does go up this coming week. We have reason to believe that SPY will rise this week. Now, I actually had some calls that were going to expire this coming Friday, next Friday, the 12th. And I sold them. I actually took a loss. I took a loss. I just didn't want to be unsettled over the weekend with the theta loss on them. Chances are I would have done okay holding on to them, but I just want to free up some capital so I can get into Monday morning with sort of a clean slate. But I wouldn't be too concerned holding those. I don't know what your numbers are like on those, but if you're down 10%, you should be able to make that up. But I would not want to hold those probably past Wednesday morning. Um, we might be able to see, what happens because Wednesday afternoon is when the Fed announcement is going to be made. Okay, and that's going to be actually an interesting time. Uh, it's going to be an interesting time. I want to give you a 2-minute tutorial on that as we're coming up into that actually. Um, so the 2-minute tutorial, I want to talk about the impact of the Fed Reserve and what it does. Um, Right now, we're sitting on 88% of analysts believe there's going to be a 0.25% rate cut, okay, a quarter basis point. And only about 12% believe that there's going to be a no rate change. Fed Chair Powell did not intimate that he is going to cut the rates. Again, the last comments I heard anyway from him was that it's not a foregone conclusion. But here's what will happen. I want to get you, I'm going to poll the audience on this. All right, I'm going to poll the audience. I'm going to ask you, what would happen if the expectations will be reached? Given the um, 80% that's built into the futures, in this case, that the rates are going to be cut. So the market has already absorbed that there's going to be a rate cut. What do you think will happen? Let me know in the questions box what your opinion is. Do you think SPY will drop, stay the same, or rise? All right. And I want to see what you think. So I'm going to give you a second to tell me what you think because it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I'm not sure what's going to happen. I would like to think, okay, a lot of people are saying it's going to rise. All right, I want to see something. Rise something like 2 points. Okay. Rise, rise, rise. SPY will drop either way, but more if there's a rate cut. But more if there's a rate cut. Okay, slight rise, 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 rise. Stay the same. Stay the same. Most likely drop when he speaks and raise the next day. That's an interesting observation. Most likely drop when he speaks, and then it'll go up the next day. Stay the same, but depends on commentary. Same, rise, rise, drop after the cut. Um, yeah, my opinion, and that's all that is. I'm thinking here if there's no rate change, expect SPY to drop. Now, if they drop the rates, I don't know, could go either way because the expectation has been met, and it's like, right? Ooh, okay, now we know what it is, and the market's going to drop a little bit. I don't think it's going to come down a lot. I think it's going to come down maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 points. We'll see. Now, and somebody mentioned here, it depends on the commentary. And I tend to agree with that. I like the one, whoever said that. A couple of people said slight rise and it depends on the commentary. And one person said probably drop and when he speaks and there'll be a rise the next day. So I'm kind of leaning with that comment. I'm kind of leaning with that one. One thing for sure, volatility is going to increase. Slight rise and then tank when Powell speaks and go up the next day. Another one like that. SPY will drop either way, but more if there's a no rate cut, of course. Yeah, drop shortly after the rate cut. Um, the people that are saying that I happen to know are experienced traders in the trading room. So I'm kind of leaning on that. I'm kind of leaning into that too. There may be a rate, there may be a drop in SPY, especially if he speaks, and definitely a drop if there's no rate cut. But even if there is the rate cut, I think the expectations will have been met and there's going to be a drop. But I think the following day, we're probably going to see it come back up. So for that reason, I do not expect to hold on to any options during that very precarious time in the stock market. All right, let's move on. Let's move on here. Folks, you've heard this many times before. I got to tell you, we have some real solid gold, learn and earn actionable plans available exclusively only through DayTradeSPY. I got to tell you, if you're just starting out, if you're new to trading, and I know there are a lot of people online here who are new to trading, people following us on Instagram and I believe the other social media um, social media programs are going to be soon implemented. So we're going to get a real influx of new traders, a lot of young people. You don't want to commit a lot of money, time, effort into what we do. You want to kind of find out a little bit what we do. Join the inner circle. Inner circle. Every morning you're going to get our morning market analysis. John does that for the most part. Once in a while he has me doing it. I like to keep it short and sweet. Market's going up, it's going down, whatever. Okay. But I like to keep it short and sweet. And but basically, John, he's very thorough in his analysis, and he sends that out. He does all the heavy lifting, folks. And you're also going to be invited to our Wednesday night interactive meetups. These are recorded in case you miss them. Ask John anything at all. He's the one who hosts this. Ask him anything at all. It doesn't matter. Chart patterns, chart setups, think or swim, and anything at all to do with SPY options. He'll cover it. He also talks about some pretty cool things. I got a feeling that this Wednesday, I'm not really sure what time the Inner Circle meetup is going to be. I got to find this out tomorrow. It might actually be earlier during the day regarding the Fed announcement. I know there's some chatter about that, so I got to find out what that's going to be all about. But you want to get it on the Inner Circle. Costs next to nothing to get it on this. All right. Now, there are a lot of people out there who just simply don't have the time or the ability to get into the trading room, and that's fine. We get that, right? We get that. We've all been there. Well, got to take the kids to school, got to run around, and maybe you work. You can't get in front of a computer that at that time, whatever. Um, and that's good. But you still want to trade. So we got a couple of really cool programs that facilitate that, where we actually send you an option to trade. Here's one of the popular ones. They're both very popular, actually. DayTradeSPY Signal. This is a signal that is sent to your cell phone, algorithm based, 3 to 5 times a week. It's a text message. All of a sudden, your text message comes through, your phone vibrates or whatever. Jump on your trading platform, make the purchase right then and there. Put it up for sale for an immediate 5% gain, walk away. If it is not sold by the end of the day, sell it at market close. Are they all winners? I can't say they are. We're pushing about 90% win rate. You're not gonna lose at all. It's not like it's gonna go to zero because there's ample time in these options. So they might go down a bit. Some might even go down a little bit more. But over the long run, this program is extremely successful, even with losses. Very, very successful. Okay. The pick of the day is another one. Pick of the day. Every morning at 9 o'clock Eastern time, you're going to get the pick emailed to you. John and I, we get together in pre-market and hammer out what is the pick going to be? Calls or puts? Calls or puts. We put enough time in these as well, so if you need to hold them overnight, you can. However, for reporting purposes, if it has not filled its 6% target price, we will close this out at the end of the day as well. So sometimes this may show up as a loss, but the reality is if we hold it overnight, it's probably going to be a success. So unfortunately, the results on this are a little bit skewed. This is emailed to you, and this is an immediate buy at the market open. So what we're saying here is that we are anchoring this trade in time. We are saying that you buy this market open at some point during the day, this stock should go either up or down to fulfill the calls or puts for the profit target that we had envisioned. What we do is when John and I determine this trade, we take all of our inputs that we look at, all the news items, fundamentals. We look at the technicals. We look at what happened, what's coming up. We look at all the different factors, the Greeks. We look at volatility. We look at theta. We look at everything. All right. So we do the heavy lifting once again on the pick. So this is actually a really cool thing. And again, very, very successful. Both the day trade spy signal and the pick of the day are pushing a 90% win rate. Of course, our best value is the live streaming trading room. And I mentioned this earlier, hosted by Hugh, that's me, and John, he's my cohort. Okay. Speaking the third person, right? Interactive, learn to earn, fully narrated, where our strategies come alive, when our indicators unite, our trades ignite. We got all kinds of models. A dime at a time is just fine. All kinds of models, right? This is daily, 9:20 to 10:30 Eastern time. And listen, you don't have to be an expert trader to be in this. This is where you're going to learn. Again, it's not a watch Hugh and John trade session. It's obviously we trade and we narrate our trades, but we get in here to teach you what to look for, what to do. All right, we look for the setups, we get in there, make our money. Personally, my best trade is the scalp. I get it for a few cents, grab that winner, wait for the setup, do it again. Wait for the setup, do it again and again and again. All right. Look, if you know what calls and puts are, you can do this. You need to be there. All right. All programs, by the way, you notice I didn't give you the price. It's because I don't know what they are. It's because customer service knows what they are, and they seem to have specials all the time. So what I highly recommend is you simply email customer service at daytradespy.com and tell them what you're looking for. Tell them, say, listen, I am looking for the following. Day Trade Spy Signal, Day Trade Spy Pick of the Day, the Inner Circle, and the Trading Room. I want the entire full enchilada here. What's the best price? And they'll give you a price. Now, here's the cool thing about it. This is unbelievable. If you don't like it, if it's not for you. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but if it's not for you, you get a 30-day money back guarantee, no questions asked. 30 days, you say, okay, you know what? Call them up and or email them. Say, not for me. Can I get a refund? Yeah, sure, no problem. So you get a refund, not to mention all the information that you just picked up in the last 30 days here. Um, I don't think many people ask for refunds, but I'll tell you, it's there if you need it. Okay, it's there if you need it. So I think it's a really cool thing, and I highly suggest that you pick up on that. So, all right, let's take a look here. Some more questions. More questions. I kind of like what you guys are doing here. Is John planning a special session on Wednesday for the Fed meeting? Jim, I believe he is. And we will send out an email. I guess when we send out the um, invitation for the Wednesday night meetup, we're probably going to be talking about that in there. I'll get the information on that tomorrow. And if you're in the trading room at all, you should get that information. But I think we should probably give you that information sooner rather than later. Normally for the Wednesday night meetups, we send the invitation out at 4 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday. Obviously, that's going to have to come out earlier. So, but I know that he is doing some sort of a special, let's put it this way. I heard some talk about him doing a special session on Wednesday just for that. I don't know if it's an additional session on Wednesday or the substitute for the Wednesday night on that. So, all right, here another question. Is it worthwhile to place a stop loss on the pick of the day? So that's an interesting question. So here's the thing, the pick of the day usually will deliver very early on, okay, very early on. Sometimes, however, it doesn't. Sometimes it will go against us and then it'll reverse and go higher, right? It'll reverse and go higher. I'm going to just close, I'm going to close the blinds here for these two guys because I think I'm going to be maybe a little bit brighter if I have the blinds or at least a little bit clearer. I see the video's not very good. It's a little coarse, right? Maybe this will sharpen up a little bit. Not really sure. So the question, is it good to put a stop loss on the pick of the day? Um, Oftentimes or sometimes what happens, like you mentioned, the pick of the day will go against you and then it'll come back and deliver the profits. Um, I don't have an exact answer on that. I know a lot of times if I use a stop loss, it'll take me out on the stop. But then if I stayed, even 5, 10 minutes later, it would have turned around and would have delivered the trade. Because there's ample time on those picks, if it was me, I would hold on into the next day. All right, see where the market goes the next day, and then possibly use a stop loss, after day two. After day two. These picks are designed in a lot of ways to have long-term, shelf life. By long-term, I'm talking about more than just one day. So usually you're probably going to be okay if you hold on to those overnight. But you want to be out of those. Don't have these. Okay, so if it expires the next Friday, don't go into the next Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Try to be out of it earlier because you are going to lose that data loss. I think that's kind of important. So. All right, let me see what else we can talk about here. Some other questions. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. All right. Okay. How do you feel about the futures market? The futures market, right? Seems like they can be pushed around, but at least give some premium direction, preliminary direction. Our thoughts also watch overseas markets and bond future market futures. Ron C, I know you're a good trader. I used to keep an eye on overseas markets, and but I found they really didn't have a whole lot of value to our markets now. Maybe back then they did, but now it seems like the world is respecting the U.S. and the U.S. markets more than they were even 6, 8, 10 months ago. So maybe there's more money flowing into the U.S. markets. And maybe these overseas markets are simply not as influential in our markets as they may have been back then. As far as the futures are concerned, what I look at there from about 9 o'clock to 9:30, I look and see, well, where are they? Where are they going? Where are they headed? I think it was Friday, Thursday, or Friday, I can't remember which. They were very positive, and then they went negative real fast. I think it was some issue with Microsoft. They all turned on us. They went negative and very deep negative, but then they end up bouncing back up during the market hours. But I look and see trends. I look and see how they relate to each other. What I don't like is when they're mixed, when two out of the three indices or indexes, however you want to say it, we've got the S&P, we've got Nasdaq and the Dow. When two are going one way and the other is going another way, when they're mixed, or when they're just flat, then the market's not decided in any real direction. And even if they are all going down, that doesn't mean I'm going to take a position to the downside. Okay. Very often, what I like is I actually really like it when the market is going down because I know for a fact that the markets are going to find some level of support. Then they're going to bounce up, come back down, possibly go back out. They're going to revert back up. So I get excited when the markets actually go down in pre-market and find support. Sometimes it's clear as day when that happens. When the markets go up, I get a little more hesitant because I don't know if it's going to reverse back down or continue to the upside. Those are a little crazy. So anyway, I look at futures just to get a gauge as to which way the markets are going to go, and see where it goes from there. So, all right, some more questions here. Buying versus limit versus market. Question comes up once in a while. I prefer limit orders. Now, when you send a limit order to the market, what it really means is, let's say a buy order, right? A limit buy order. What it means is I want to buy it for this price lower or lower. And very often I get filled for a lower price to the buy price. If I just give you a market price, in all likelihood it will give me that lower price, but not always. In fact, sometimes they'll give you a higher price than what the limit is. The market price is a negotiated price, and there's no guarantee you're going to get it even between the bid and the ask. You may actually, if you're selling and you have a market price, you actually may get a lower uh, a sell price than what the bid is, and that's not a good thing, right? So you always want to use limit orders. Limit orders. Know what the most is you're going to pay, what the least is you're going to get for it. Now that said, if you really want the option, I say buy it. And if you want it because say it's going up and it's going up fast, instead of putting in an order for the ask price, put an order in for 2 or 3 cents more than the ask price. I know it sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? And it sounds ridiculous. Well, you're saying, well, I'm giving you the ask price. But here's the thing, when the market's going very quickly and by the time, your order gets in there, that price, right, the market price has now exceeded your ask price. So it comes back saying you didn't get it. So now you look at it, now you say, oh, now it's 2 or 3 cents higher. You put your order back in for 2 or 3 cents higher for the ask price. You still don't get it. It's gone higher, gone higher. You keep doing this until eventually you get it. But when did you get it? You got it when the price reversed and came back down. So now you're buying it to the upside when it's coming back down, aren't you? That's not the way you want it. You want to grab it when it's going up, right? Assuming it's calls. So when you see, say, a bid ask $3, 3.10, or 3.05, let's say $3, 3.05. 3.05 is the ask price. Put your buy price in for 3.07. I know you're sacrificing 7 cents, but by the time you get it, you'll either get it for 3.07 or less, but you'll get it. And by that time it comes back to you, chances are it's 308, 310, 315, right? And that's how you often see when I sell, and I would say I'm in there for 28 seconds or 35 seconds. That's why. That's exactly what I do. I put in an order to buy it for a little bit more than the ask price. By the time I get it, it's already made its profit. I put the order in to sell it, and I got my money in a matter of seconds. There's the secret. If you take nothing away from tonight, there's a really cool tip for you. All right. Okay, I got a comment here from John H. He says the Inner Circle special session is going to be at 1:50 Eastern Time on Wednesday. John, do you know if this is going to be in lieu of the Wednesday night meeting or in addition to. If you know that, let me know that. We'll get you updated information on that either way, but that'd be interesting and good to know. So those in the inner circle, yes, you'll want to get in on the special session at 1:50 Eastern Time as John Johnson will host that and be right there with the Fed Reserve Fed rate announcement, right? That'll be pretty cool. All right. What if there's a big gap on the open? What about it? I say that. What about it? Is oftentimes markets like to fill in gaps. It might go against you. Now, here's the other thing. People say to me, "Well, you in your recommendations, you don't put what price I should get the option for." And that's a valid point, except that nobody knows what the price is going to be. When we send out these, notices, pick of the day or day trades by signal or our inner circle recommendations or whatever, we have no idea. The option market opens at 9:30. At 9 o'clock, you could see an option price completely different than what you're going to pay for, but it doesn't matter. What you want to do is make sure that you give it a few seconds for the bid-ask spread to settle in nice and tight. Okay, so you got a good price. You don't want any wide spreads. We had this the other day, actually a week ago on Friday. There was an issue with the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. There was some an outage or something. Volumes were low. The bid-ask spreads were unbelievably high. I said, we're not trading that. You want to trade that? Good luck. Good luck. You'll buy something really high and you're stuck with it. So we didn't trade. So you want to make sure the bid-ask spread is nice and tight. And then and it doesn't matter because if you pay $5 for it, you'll sell it for 5.20, 5.30, right? You get the money back just by fewer options. So all right. Okay. SPY chart has 688 on the right axis, but the market is actually 6880, for example. So the right axis represents 1/10 of the real value of the S&P. Okay, so SPY, that's right. The SPY stock follows the S&P, which would be the SPX. So think of it this way: the SPX is a basket of the top 500 stocks. Okay, very expensive. Going to cost you a lot of money to buy an option on the SPX. So if you don't mind spending, a couple $1,000s on a single option, I personally don't want to do that. I'd rather have more options. So instead I follow SPY, which is the spider. That's the stock that follows the top 500 stocks. But you will see if you put in an SPX and an SPY chart, they go actually in tandem. They both go together. Okay. So there's more flexibility, there's more liquidity, there's more everything. I find SPY is just the greatest tradable instrument out there and just very much used to it too. So, and here's the other thing that a lot of times, people say, well, any other strategies? No, I don't know. There's endless strategies out there. I'm not interested in any other strategy. It's kind of like when you lose your car keys and you find them, you stop looking, right? I'm not interested in any other strategies because I can make really good money just trading SPY options every day, in and out, in and out, in and out. It's a lot of fun. All of my, goals with this program are satisfied. I have fun. It's exciting. I'm making money. Um, and for that reason, this is why I stay with these strategies, right? I'm not looking for anything else. All right. Okay, there's a question, Michael, about trading SPX instead of SPY because of the tax treatment. You know what? I'm not familiar with the tax treatment. This is something I leave to my accountants. Now, maybe there's a better tax treatment with SPX versus SPY. I don't know. I'm to the point now. I do okay. All right. So what I just say, I give it all to my accountant. As a matter of fact, I have to get some stuff to him this week. I give him all the stuff, and he tells me how much I pay. Might not be the most efficient, but you might want to actually talk to your CPA about this and give him give him your thoughts on it. Let him give him give you your thoughts, and you can see whether this is something you want to do. Maybe trade SPX if that has a better tax treatment than SPY. Maybe Michael paper trade it, and see how it reacts, and see how you are with it. And if you don't mind, like I say, paying more money, so instead of maybe buying 10 options, you'll buy one contract. Maybe a little bit harder to leg in, leg out. I'm not sure about the liquidity. Check it out. And you know what? Let me know how you do with that. If you find that is something you want to do. So, all right, it is now 9 o'clock Eastern time. One thing I do not want to do is take your time all night. I have a tendency to do that. What I'm going to do now is we're going to have a contest. Now, please, in the questions box, I'll be real quick. I'm going to get to these two other questions before I jump into this. While I'm waiting, I want you to put a number from 1 to 100 in the questions box, folks. All right, 1 to 100. We're going to pull up our random number generator and pick a number. The person closest to it will win the ebook, Tips, Tricks, and Traps. So, all right, the Wednesday meeting with John is going to be at 150. It's not a trading session, right? I understand. I don't know if it is. I'm not sure if it is. You will, again, I don't want to speak on his behalf. Maybe it is a trading session. Maybe he's just going to be discussing stuff about the Feds. I have a feeling that's what he's going to do. I don't know how long it's going to be. I will find out tomorrow, and we will disseminate that information sooner rather than later. So. Right. Okay, so the question, when we start the 5 to 50K in January in the trading room, do you vocally announce that this is a 5 to 50K trade? Yes, we will make it very clear that we are doing a 5 to 50K trade. This is going to be separate from the pick and the signal and any other trades. That is the intent. It is going to be separate. Now, I trust that the Eagle people, the powers that be, are not going to mess it up. So they might not, I don't want them to say, no, we're going to combine things, we're going to mix things up. No, 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 no. I want to keep this as a separate strategy. All right. You got to be in the trading room, separate, complete separate strategy. So let's do it. All right. Anything else here? Okay. We got all the numbers coming in, folks. I am going to give you another 20 seconds to punch up your number and in the questions box. All right. The winner closest to the number is going to get the ebook Tips, Tricks, and Traps. This is the random number generator. And at this point, I think what I'm going to do is remove my picture because I had that stupid, ugly pose. There we go. This is not the number. 6 is not the number. All right. This is leftover from last week. I am just queuing up here. And what I'm going to do is just wait for another couple of seconds, get everything else set up. And there we go. My gosh. All right, here we go. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do I have all the numbers? Yes, I've got them all. Now I am going to hit this button and tell you what the number is going to be. It is 95. 95. Wow, that's a switch from last week. Last week was 6. This week it's 95. So let me go back to the list. Let me go back to the list. Here we go. Uh, John H. at 73. He's the closest. 73, John H. 79 for Reggie. Reggie G. James C. 80. James C. I better write these down. We're getting closer. James C at 80. All right, who do we have here? Okay, James C at 80. Wow, James C, he got it for 80. He's got the closest at 80. Congratulations. I will have that ebook coming out to you shortly. So congratulations, tips, tricks, and traps. Let me ask you, James C, do you already have that ebook? Let me know if you do. If you do, then I'll send you Triumphs and Tragedies. All right, because I have a feeling you might already have that. I don't know. Let me know in the questions box if you have that. If not, if I don't hear from you, I will send you tips, tricks, and traps. All right, folks, if you stick around in your browser, you should have actually the URL coming up for the trading room purchase details. And in the meantime, I will leave this young lady here to thank you for joining us. Been a pleasure, folks. The recording will be out shortly as well. Have a good night, folks.
Do give it all to you and trust the process to keep your eyes